tell me, how much of a therapy journey was this film for you to explore?
Well, gosh, I think if anything, it was like a gestalt therapy. A lot of doing, ah, ah. So yeah, I mean, it was a very challenging adaptation because I'm a big fan of Chester Brown. He's a great cartoonist. Love his work. When the book came out in 2014, 2011, it struck me as I just immediately wanted to turn it into a book because I really appreciated it. I thought it had a lot to say about workers' rights, human rights, sex worker rights, queer liberation. And yeah, I thought this is going to be easy. It's a beautiful comic. It's a graphic novel. It's the storyboard. The very first draft of the script, I transcribed verbatim and wrote it down. And then Chester and I looked at it and I was like, we said, wow, this is terrible. In fact, Chester said, okay, this sucks. Don't even try to make it into a movie. It won't work, Sook-Yin. And I was like, it's gotta work. We realized very quickly that a comic is not a movie. His book is very episodic and it's very, very political. The last fifth of the book are his notes, his appendices, just about many historical notes, intellectual arguments, jam-packed full of info. And I wasn't, I was like, how do I turn those are important, but how do I incorporate that into a movie? So it really took a long time for me to figure out how to solve it.
I think you and your team did a great job because it's not easy to explore the need for love and the need for sex, which could be different. In this case, Chester is looking for, he's protecting himself, but he wants sex. And
Mhm.
Sonny wants a relationship. So it's very beautiful the way you explore both angles of
Well,
relationships.
Guy, you just nailed it. I hadn't thought of that before. The drive for sex and the drive for love. Yes, I'm aware of that, but then I'm thinking about Chester and I, and we're very, very close, very, very close, but we're very different. He's very cool. His artwork is very cool, intellectual, political, didactic. He has a kind of neutrality, logic, and logically, he needed sex. He's a very logical guy. Man needs sex. Man doesn't want to be in a relationship. What does man do? Man pays for sex. And whereas me, I'm hot-headed and I'm very emotional. And I think about connection and love. And so it was only until I realized that I had to like expand the canvas of Chester's book. I'm a character in his graphic novel. I offer the inciting incident at the very beginning when I say to Chester, what do you think about opening up our relationship? Which jettisons him on his journey. And other than that, I'm gone. And I said to Chester, why didn't you include more of what was happening in our life? Because as he was doing that, we were still living together in a relationship. And he said, I didn't think you would want to. I was protecting your privacy. And I said, well, I think I have to like reveal the private stuff, so then I expanded it to show a couple and, what was happening from my perspective and a couple that was sort of on their different journeys. She more interested in connection and him and, for sex, and that is when the story started to come together. That is when it started to click.
In your search for love or relationships, did you ever, did people hurt you emotionally?
Yes, they did, and I hurt myself. There are different types of people and love.
And
There are some
pain?
people who are, yeah, some people are very cool. Like I have a friend who's like, I would never approach anyone. They have to approach me. I'm like, well, you're really limiting your options. Me, I can't help it. When I fall in love, I run after the person, probably scare them. Oftentimes I run and they run away. So, I mean, it's it's all, love and connection, spirituality, sex, it's all together in one thing. Um, when we were talking about it afterwards, in the Q&As, it was so funny because I made a realization because with Chester, somebody's like, how did you all stay together through those years? And I'm like, well, really, the sex between Chester and I was minuscule in importance. For me, it was about the care and connection and the love. And then Chester was like, not me. He was like, the sex was super important. So even there, you see the differences. So that
Would
kind
you,
of tension.
yeah, would you say that sex is overrated at a certain point in our lives?
Well, I mean, I think I've been through in my life, I feel like I have experienced every possible sexual identification and gender identification. I remember when I was a child, I grew up in a family of four girls. I was a jock, and I blew a bubble with my bubble gum that got all over my hair. So my mom cut my hair short, really short, and everybody thought it was a boy. And I realized one day when I was picking blueberries in the field with my sisters, and we were all in these very hot dresses, I took my dress off and ran through the field without a shirt on and my short hair, and I felt free. And I said to my parents, I am Mark from now on. Please call me Mark. And they were only too happy because they didn't have a son. And they were like, Yay, Mark. So I feel like I've been a boy, I've been a girl, a man, a woman, an it, a we, and I've experienced every sexual orientation, and everything is very fluid. I think what is important to me is, I think, you said, were you hurt? I think most of all, I was hurt, but like from myself and my misguided things of like feeling, like grabbing somebody else that I would feel, you know, connected and loved if only somebody would love me. So it's a work in process of loving oneself. It's a cliche, and I'm working on it. It's probably like a lot of people. When you think about, everyone says, just love yourself, but it's like, what? How do you
Yeah.
do that? It sounds a bit
Now,
corny. It's like, oh my God, I love myself. And it's like,
what would you
wow,
like people to take home after seeing the movie? I will tell you what I brought with me. I brought I had to question myself about sexuality and love. So it was like a mirror of, I think your film not force us, but takes us into a different place in which we can question ourselves about sex,
absolutely. I love that.
codependency. Could you?
I love I love that you you were curious enough to reflect on your own experiences. And that's great. I mean, I try to put in a lot of questions, and then I leave a lot of room for people to kind of think for themselves and reevaluate their own biases or their own ways of seeing things. Because there's much more wiggle room in life. We're told that we have to be this or that and the other, and this is this and that. And the truth is that there's much more wiggle room. And in that wiggle room, there is freedom. And so to be able to interrogate that for yourself is a really wonderful opportunity in life. And I'd like for people to feel not as alone in their confusion. I am a deeply confused person. And even after making that movie, I'm still very confused.
But I think
So
that
I have
now,
to,
uh, after talking to you for a few minutes, I can tell that the film reflects your sense of humor, but also your capacity to analyze things. You can jump from
mm,
laughing like wow to talk about freedom.
yeah,
I think it's
it's,
great. Also, I think
yeah.
that in many ways, I think that you represent the Toronto avant-garde community in a way,
Oh,
because through the film you include Toronto
yes.
in a period of Toronto cultural, the 90s, which were great, like
Yeah.
the vegan restaurant also.
Oh
Um,
God. Tell me about it. It's still there. Sammy is such a great guy. And, I cast locations that are era specific that still exist. And his Buddhist vegan restaurant, it's gorgeous inside there. And he is a real outstanding guy. He makes beautiful food and he treats people very well. And the food is affordable. And it just looked perfect. My art team went into the restaurant and they're like, well, we could change this and this and this. I'm like, no, keep it as is. It's perfect as it is. Yeah, I mean, I shot in my house. I'm talking to you from where the real life events happened. I was working on a budget, so it made sense. Okay, we'll shoot here. So it's how production designed,
Is
and
behind
when I needed,
you Chester's basement or not?
yes,
Oh,
yeah,
poor Chester.
he said
I
he really liked it. Like, I mean, it's tiny in there. Yes.
yeah. So listen, congratulations. Lovely
Oh,
seeing you. Great, and I wish you. I love the film. It was great, and
oh,
all the tribute to the music and the videos. Yeah. Last
yeah.
question. How is your friendship with Chester? How is are you
He's my,
friends?
yeah, he's my family. I mean, I'm going to tell you the real analogy where you can see how deep it is. When I go away, he's the one who waters my plants. He
Oh, so
comes here.
very
That's
close.
the close, that's the close person who
It is.
waters your plant.
I'm so glad you kept the friendship. Very beautiful.
It never went away. Always a consistent love. And that to me, at the end of the day, the search for love, I've been very lucky to find that in Chester Brown.